Hello everyone, this is Ashmeet and welcome to PLF Asia. Schools of Creativity presents PLF Asia. Phoenix Literature Festival started its journey in 2020 and we have conducted three literature festivals. PLF Asia is the fourth online lit fest. The sessions were viewed by more than 35,000 viewers virtually with authors from India, South Africa, Australia, USA, Canada, Iran and UK. We strive to help writers and readers community and bring them on one platform. PLF also started an initiative, Schools of Creativity, to help kids and youth to inculcate reading and writing habits. PLF Asia is a dialogue to propagate the message of bringing a change in the society and also to recognize the change makers of Asia. The session the session today will be focusing on the key highlights of yesterday's session and the cultures around Asia. For discussing these topics, we have with us Rohan Batra, who is a practicing advocate at Supreme Court and has more than 10 years of experience in settling disputes. He specializes in commercial litigation and arbitration. Next, we have Rahul Sharma, who is an award winning marketer, co founder of Phoenix Litfest, Schools of Creativity, and StartupJob.in. And at last, but not the least, we have Kosha Shah. Kosha is an author and conversationalist. She has a talk show, Know and Tell with Cosmos, where she interacts with people across globe about literature. She's a PR head at Ahmedabad Book Club and has spoken at various lit fests and universities on different topics. So let's welcome them with a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, without wasting time, let's begin this session. And my first question to you is Rahul. What, according to you, were the key highlights of yesterday, and what was it that you liked the most about it?
Thank you, Ashmeet. Yesterday we had four sessions. First was session of inauguration where Kosha, I, Kulpreet sir, Suman Batra sir, we inaugurated the session with high energy and talking, sharing about importance of literature, how literature binds people from different countries. Second session talks about democracy, the role of democracy. And it is high time that we youth should come forward and talk about it. Not just talk about it, do something, take action, whatever we should. And the highlights were shared by Alok Lal, former IPS officer, Sumant Batra sir, Indranil Mukherjee, and session was well moderated by Anil Jalali. The third session, again, we have three speakers from three different countries: Vani Kosha from India, Ganesh Lat from Nepal, and Sahar Nasino from Philippines. They talked about Asia's rise to English, how Asia, the country, contained with several languages, several countries, but no common language at all. So how still the language, the literature will help in rising Asia. We talked about a lot about how Asia will keep rising. It's not about language, it's all about the emotion, the feeling. Uh, what you have inside, you can just put it. The last session is again the session which is very important for PLF, and it talks about how the next Google will be from Asia or India or any Asian country, and we feel that if we keep working towards our goal, we can achieve it. So, Asmit.
Yeah, that's great. So, Kosha, would you like to share anything about it? How was your experience conducting yesterday?
Oh, thank you for the warm welcome and glad to be here, Asmit. Thank you. Yeah, yesterday we had lot of thoughts exchanging from different parts of the country, which is the key of the communication. That there is no language barrier, there is no barrier in when it comes to exchanging your thoughts. There is no barrier to it. That is what was my take from it. And as a youth for this generation, we should try. Everyone should play their role for making the world better place to live. So that was my take from the whole session yesterday, all the four sessions yesterday.
Yeah, that was really great. So like I would like to move on to the next topic that we have today. So like how do you think that communication and technology can shape the future? Like as you are a conversationalist, what is your take onto that?
Okay, communication for me, if we start with the basic, uh, everything which has evolved is due to communication, right? From the primitive age where man discovered sun, man discovered how rain falls, man discovered mountains, what it is. In fact, man discovered food. So everything what it was due to communication and technology. If we say right now, before few years we didn't had satellites. Because of these satellites in the space we can be better communicate. Because of the weather forecast technology we can try and avoid or at least prepare ourselves for various adversities. And if we because of technology in future, right now we can just go to space, then it will we will be holidaying in this space and even farming in this space, growing food and everything. So yes, communication and technology definitely makes our life easier and it shapes the future. So everything which has evolved is because of communication, even technology.
Okay, that was a really unique take that I've heard about it. So,
Thank you.
Rohan, would you answer like how could the people from like culturally diverse background come together as a whole to solve major problems like climate change and world peace? Like there's a lot of wars going on these days, and I think being a lawyer and diplomat, you can help us go more into that. Rohan, actually, you were on mute. Like, could you please just unmute it?
Thank you, Ashmeet, for this intriguing question. First of all, I would like to thank PLF Asia and all my panelists for giving me the opportunity to be here and share my views. The question that you raise is far more pervasive than I originally thought. I actually asked myself this question: how can cultural difference help or influence the issue of climate change? Interestingly, the thought occurred to me that all of us, all four of us, and perhaps the people watching us, are not individuals per se. We are the product of the culture in which we are born, the culture we are bred with, and the culture that we so proudly use in our lifestyle. Now, as a result of that, the most impact of culture is seen in the style of communication. For example, I'll digress for a moment. You see how Asian countries like China and Japan, the manner of talking is such so as not to offend the sensibilities of somebody else. In contrast are countries in Europe which display an empathetic way of communication style. If you go further west, you have United States, which has a more individualistic way of speaking, which perhaps is considered to be brash in some parts of the world. Now, not only does this culture or the way we speak affect how we want to convey the message of climate change, it perhaps also affects how our policies are interpreted. There's, in fact, a study of Hofstede which analyzed how different countries are interpreting the issue of climate change. My takeaway, at least on this issue, is that the moment we understand cultural differences, we are able to cross the bridge of communication to deliver the message of global warming or climate change. But that's not enough. What we need, in addition to that, is to use this cultural understanding to actually develop some hyper-local ways of bringing about climate change for the better. For example, the most common Indian saying is always keep garbage outside of your house, keep your neighborhood clean. These are some of the most effective hyperlocal ways, if I call them, of ensuring that we make sure climate doesn't change for the adverse. So, like all of us are here together, trying to understand each other's cultures, fields of life where we come from. If all of us keep communicating in this way, We will first not only dissolve this communication barrier, which is at times caused by culture, but also pass on the understanding that today climate change is very, very real.
Mm.
Ah, like really, really great answer, really moving. So, Rahul, I
May I?
wanted to. Yeah,
Okay.
please,
May
ma'am.
I add something here?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
What he said is if we try to understand each other's culture, then it would be easy to bring about uh, like climatic changes and whatever is happening. But I feel if everyone plays their role individually, at their own place, wherever they are, whatever religion, culture they believe, then automatically entire place would be a better thing. And even few people, like example I would give, one from one girl, Thanar from Philippines, a 15-year-old who raised her voice at UN seminar for climatic changes. Like she comes from a very small place, and one from Pakistan, she raised for child education activists. So this all people from, though they are from different culture, they come ahead and bring a lot more change in the world.
Okay. So, like, I think what both of you said has somewhat similarity to me. Like what I thought Rohan said has like something related to tolerance and understanding different cultures. Like what happens is
Yes.
like right now at present we kind of are doing our individual things, but we don't understand how they're impacting others. So
Mm.
what I think like what you're saying could be really great, but like if we just take in what Rowan said, and if we understand how our individual actions are impacting the other cultures,
Others
and if we combine both of these things, that the result that we might get would be something that could help the world in total.
yes.
So that's what I thought. So
Perfect.
yeah. So my next question to you is Rahul, like how do you think like people from like very different cultures and have like and present generation losing its tolerance, power and acceptance? Like what as a generation and different cultures still binds us together as a human? Like what is your take on that?
Thank you, Ashmeet, for bringing this question. At first, let me some takeaways from Rohan and Kosha. When we have the differences, we have fears. If you see a snake outside your home, you do have fear because
Yeah.
snake is different from you. He is not human. So because of fear, you start try to kill it, right? Because of fear. But when you start understanding why it is here in the first place, you start accepting the way it is. Okay, so it's about embracing the next person, the next entity, or maybe not humans, but even the animals or the other species. So we can have what do you say Ram Rajya in Hindi. So I would say this, yeah, please to try to understand. I feel this uh, when we get when we just put our egos aside in if we say country wise, and we put our differences aside in terms of human and different species, we can have ecological balance. We can have a good place to live together with everyone. Everyone has their own place. We need to accept them the way they are, and then things will start happening.
So Rohan, would you like to add anything to this? Like what
In
how
fact, yes, Ashmeet, I was quite eager to share my views on this because this question is something which is connected to my heart really. I'll answer it with two words: pain and empathy. These are the two values I would call which can connect human beings despite human beings being tolerant, less tolerant, and less acceptable of others. Talk about March 2011, one of the biggest tsunamis in Japan. We saw world facing a huge wreck. All of us, despite the cultural differences, could feel the pain, could see the devastation which nature had caused. We had lost so many lives. It wasn't a matter of joke for any one of us. Everyone empathized. Those who were unaffected empathized with the people who had pain. Those who were undergoing this pain obviously felt connected to the rest of the people. At times when we feel pain in life, for example, you talk about at a very domestic level, when you fail an exam, the person who scored the top marks may not understand the pain, but his other buddy who's also failed, they know the value of pain. And that's how, even though they might hate each other, may not even be best friends, they can understand each other's pain because both of them are going through pain. That's the first bridge. Second is what happens to the topper who scored 98. He can never feel the pain of a person who scored less than 50. Now, to cross that bridge is one you call empathy to the border. Empathy is that ability that helps you comprehend someone's pain without feeling it. Now, all of us don't need to have someone dying in our families, wrecked marriages, some loot or plunder to understand that these are horrible incidents. But we do get it, right? We don't always put the hand on the burning stove and pull it back. We are aware that this is going to hurt us like it's hurt somebody else. And that is why empathy helps us cross that bridge. So if we employ these two and understand the real meaning, how practically to use pain and empathy, I don't think so there's a question of tolerance or acceptability. There is just pure understanding.
Definitely. Kosha, I see you smiling. I think you have something to share in here.
Oh, I loved the answer from him. It's so basic thing which
Yeah,
cannot be taught theoretically. It's just, yeah, you don't need to understand everything practically, but empathy starts from our home. A child learns from us, seeing us. So it's very basic thing which he explained it in so beautifully. So that's what I was smiling for, and wonderful take. Yeah, we tolerance is secondary thing, but empathy is the first thing, and that only requires understanding. That's it, nothing else.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. Like beautiful answer, Rohan. So, like, I would want to go back to Rahul again, and I want to ask, like, Rohan gave a very beautiful answer about empathy and pain, but that needs, like, what I feel is like people don't understand that in this present world. Like, we are turning more, like, we are turning less acceptable of others. So, like, how do you think this feelings of pain and empathy can be like shared with others? Like, how can like these things can be taught to a kid? And like, cause what I believe is, if you want to bring a change in a generation, you started with a kid, and he can do a lot of things. But how do you think, like, at present generation, at the present age, like the youth, how can we change and propagate this idea of pain and empathy?
Ashmeet, I feel the Gen Z is more empathetic the way we think, and they are looking for solutions. Whether we have already created a lot of
Yeah,
problem for this country and continent and for the globe. They're looking at the solutions, and I personally feel like Rohan mentioned very well. I think I don't have words to fill in like pain and empathy. I'm looking to add one more word. Love is again part of empathy.
yeah,
Love is also an emotion if shared. Like when a child comes, a child feels the love from the mother, and that love emotion is by default within us. And when it is shared with the right way, like the next person, the next again going to my same core, like the person from this country or that country is also the human being like you, and we mean to love each other, respect each other. In this way, you will not have hatred. I read somewhere, I think someone shared, I don't remember, maybe Ruchi shared that war is something like it's a ego of old people
yeah,
who hate each other, and they due to their hatred feel young people die, okay, and the old people they don't die. So it is the young people, they are just being used as a bait,
yeah,
scapegoat. So
yeah,
might be we can change the way it is by sharing more love, by I don't call it having no border, but sharing more love, understanding each other, understanding their pains and empathy. And being a writer, we
Yeah.
have to be very empathetic. We have to
Yeah.
understand the pain he or she is going through. Then we can say, okay, why he or she has taken that action. Why?
Yeah.
I feel love is a way to bind the world together.
Yeah. Beautiful answer, Rahul. So the next question that I have is like how do you listen the differences that people have? Like how do we create a more equitable world right now? It's not just in terms of money or monetary benefits, but as a lifestyle and everything included. Because like we see that present generation is going towards that, like going towards a more equitable state of life, but how do you make it much more like like giving the example of blockchain, like blockchain technology is like sort of trying to like decentralize finance and like trying to make it equitable for everyone, and like that is why it doesn't requires the identity of some person to like verify it over there. But how do you think like it could be taken into the other forms of life, or what certain solutions do you see that could be implemented? Like any of you could answer this.
So, Ashmeet, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
If I understand your question correctly, what you're really asking is how do you make this world more equitable than it already is?
Yeah.
First, I'll
Like
share what my definition of the word equitable means.
okay.
Equitable cannot amount or equate to equality.
Okay.
In my view, everything in the world cannot be made equal. That's
Yeah.
not how the world is designed.
Yeah.
One butterfly looks different from the other. Every plant, every leaf, the design of the leaf is designed different from the other. So, equitable cannot mean equality. The question is, what is equitable?
Okay.
Equitable, in my view, should mean that every one of us should get a fair opportunity, an opportunity to give it a shot. The example of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
cryptocurrency. Let's take NFT for example, just going off the topic.
Yeah.
Most of the artists, music artists, or even painters, they've struggled for years to sell their paintings. And people who manage to do that, the lion's share goes to the recording labels, goes to the place where the paintings will be hung, or to the art galleries as they call it. It wasn't equitable for them.
Yeah.
What technology has done, it has removed the interface, it has removed the barrier which was originally there and given everyone a platform. Now, that platform is open for everyone, for every digital artist, for every musician to record their product and try and sell it out.
Okay.
To that extent, making it equitable is fair. But we all know in today's day and age, even when Instagram came, it's an interface, right, to express yourself socially, as Rahul mentioned, as in fact Kosha mentioned initially, that we are all communicating through these platforms. But there are only few handful of influencers. There are people who don't even like Instagram till date. So the point of creating the world more equitable is a good notion according to me. That helps you create these kind of interfaces. But let's not mistake making it equitable to mean everything in the world should be equal, fair, or everyone should have the same kind of progress. Even if you make it equitable, there will always be differences. And those differences are in fact required because those differences appreciate everyone's unique individualities, everyone's unique circumstances. So, yes, we should make the world more equitable in terms of creating level playing field. But in my view, in my humble view, it is still an ideal notion. What we should try and achieve is to make sure people get the right opportunity. And just to close my answer on that, you see a lot of these talent shows today. People with amazing skill sets, even far more superior than the judges who are actually judging them, are on the stage. I've never seen it. I've never seen people in India being such skilled dancers. I've never seen such kind of comedians in India. I've never seen such kind of acrobats or sometimes the most insane kind of talents. But that's what the beauty of a platform is. Equality should not be mixed with equitable. Equitable should perhaps be limited to the extent of giving people a level playing field, and then it's up to the people what to make most of it.
That's beautifully answered, Rohan. That is going to be my key takeaway for the day. And as we see that time is like really short, so I would just like to move on to my last question, and that is like, what are the next few sessions that you're looking up to? Like, we have 3 or 4 more sessions lined up for today. So, what are your what is something that you're looking for? Like, we have really interesting sessions. So, Rahul and Kosha, what do you think?
Yeah, what I'm looking for in the upcoming sessions is how, despite of cultural differences and language differences, how people communicate their thoughts and their words. So basic idea what I will take up is that expressing your thoughts and words need not require any kind of validation, any kind of means of communication or language or whatever you call. It's just you express it in your raw manner, and it's up to the other person whether they are able to or capable to, rather I would put it, whether they are capable to perceive it, receive it or not. So my look is that how they are expressing their take, their perception, their thoughts.
Yeah,
People from different countries, of course.
yeah, great answer. Thank you, Kosha. Rahul?
Yeah, there are three sessions planned today, and all of them are very exciting and insightful. The next is all about what ACI is lacking in, maybe in leadership. So we have four Toastmasters leaders. They will be talking about how Asia should look up to leadership. That would be the core, and I feel only leaders can solve the problem. We are not looking at the managers or leaders who can finally find the solutions, who can handle it, handle the situation such that we can have peace and we can just move on with our qualms we have. Again, we have differences. It's there. But again, how to deal with it? Finding the solutions amicably, not with a fight, not with making destructions. So I feel that next session is I'm looking at, and next second session.
That's really great, Rahul. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here. It was this wonderful session, and I think I will be closing it up now.
Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you, PLF, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashmeet, for this wonderful opportunity. If I can just share my last parting thoughts,
Yeah,
as Ronald Reagan once said, that there are no barriers on the human mind, no constraints on the human spirit. Nothing can come in the way of progress except the ones we create ourselves. So I think we
that,
should perhaps try and move towards more unison to try and resolve these cultural differences. And thank you again. Kosha, it was lovely meeting you. Rahul, always a pleasure.
Same
Thank
here.
you. Extremely tough
Okay.
questions to back, but lovely to do.
Thank you, Ashmeet,
Yeah.
Rohan.
Thank
It
you.
was
thank
lovely
you.
talking about understanding the differences. And I feel that the next world we are building, we all are still here. And
Yeah,
we will maybe share with more people, and this platform will help more people. Maybe the Gen Z will find different ways how to
yeah,
make this world a better place. And Rohan, you pointed out very well that pain and empathy, these are two key takeaways from this session, and I truly love the way you share. Like it feels like they're coming from your heart, and you want to say it for long. So thank you for bringing this to us. Thank you, Ashmit. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, everyone. It was a lovely session.